In a world where things almost make sense, and most everything is interesting and mildly unique, it's a place that feels somewhat familiar and has the suspicious comfort of a loving semi-omnipresence. You are on the outskirts of Loutopia. Sit back and relax, or tense up and march around. Please welcome your host of Loutopia, Lou Angel Wolf.
Ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Part number 2 of Loutopia. We're so happy that you're here, and I genuinely mean that. Welcome to the show, folks. It's a show about health, humor, and well-being. I, Lou Angel Wolf, am a stand-up comic and a huge fan of laughing. Joined in the studio with me today is Michael Merberg, my lovely and talented co-host.
Wait a minute.
Oh, wait, that's Beth.
I'm sorry, that's your hair, not mine.
Michael is our color commentator and our resident Taoist. So we love having him here. And over there on mic number 3, it's the producer of the show, Chris Gorgeous.
I'm still here.
Yes, you are. And coming up in the second half here in just a very short amount of time, it's our co-host from the Sarasota area. It's Beth Snyder. She is the hypnotherapist at BethSnyderHypnosis.com. and also the proprietor of the owner. Spa. There's some magic going on over there. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the topic about this show, or the topic of this show, is the Four Agreements. If you're unfamiliar with the Four Agreements, it's an incredible book written about 20 years ago, I think, by Don Miguel Ruiz. Really gives you the four basic agreements to life. It's kind of like almost like biblical truth to live by without all the pressure. The first agreement is be impeccable with your word. Make sure your speech is bold and upright. The second agreement, don't take anything personally. My gosh, this one is a healer. When you stop getting offended, when you stop tisking, just don't take anything personally. Third agreement, don't make assumptions like you may be making right now. Hold them. And give it a minute to clear, and then have your thought process move forward from there. And, of course, number 4, always do your best. Hard to do, but, boy, the results pay off. And where it pays off is in your own inner peace. You don't have to ask all the questions. Well, what if? Or how come? But maybe why? You don't have to do all that stuff if you tried your best.
Yeah, and even if you're lazy by your nature and you try your best, it's okay.
Doing your best is on a total sliding scale. You know what I mean? My best is not going to be the good as best as some Navy SEAL that has to run a obstacle course. I'll do my best, but
well, there's some people that struggle with severe depression, and sometimes their best is just getting out of bed in the morning.
Yeah, and be thankful for that.
Right.
But the funny thing that I keep recognizing over and over again is when I learn about this life on Earth. Everything that you were afraid of is about a tenth as scary as you thought it was going to be. Mm-hmm. What you had built up in your mind was so much worse than what really happened. And, I've done that. I've made huge decisions in my life and had, a lot of anxiety and lost sleep and, turned stomachs and headaches and pain and stress and whatever.
Well, the converse of that is like we were talking about on the first show, expectations,
Yes.
No matter how good you think something is going to be, it's only about a tenth as good as in reality,
Yeah, that's true.
That's still pretty good, though,
So basically what we're saying, folks, is life nearly isn't as groovy as you think it is.
Or as bad.
Or nearly as bad as you may have imagined.
So just do your best and get along.
Yeah. Let's see. Here we go. Yes. Here. There we go.
Who are you talking to right now?
Beth just sent me a text.
I know. I think she called in and got cut out. But
I'm on the line. I'm on the line. Are we on?
There we go. Is
There
this
she
thing on?
is.
Hello?
Hello. Turn it on and turn it off. Plug it in. Plug it on.
Kick it.
Plug it.
Kick it.
Hit it with a stick.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, like I promised you the first half, there she is, my hypnotherapist, one of my best friends on this planet, Beth Snyder.
Hi, everybody.
How you doing, doll?
Oh, we got your
Good.
mug up there tonight.
Hey,
Oh, you do? Oh, wonderful. Yeah, I'll have to see. I was watching the first half on the big TV, which was really fun. So
oh, really?
I missed it. Yeah. So we have a smart TV, so we were able to pull it up, and it was great. Yeah, it was really exciting.
Well, which picture of me did you pick, number 1 or number 2?
Well, yeah. I think number 1, Nancy said you look like the Fabio of comedy in the number 2. So.
Oh, and the number 2, he looks like the Fabio of comedy.
Yeah,
right, with the long hair. Yeah, Fabio Wolf.
Just run around throwing margarine all over the place.
No, you're missing. It's Lubio. I am Lubio. Yes.
Lubio.
Yes. Come to my desert hideaway and we'll have dessert. I will kiss you on the breaking beach sands and the large rocks and the wind blowing in my hair.
All right, I'm starting to itch. Stop.
With
Fabio Wolf.
come back,
Lubio.
for I am Lubio. I have
The
my
funniest
magic
brother
power.
in all of the East.
My magic power is I can summon a tray of brownies anytime I want.
Well, that's a good superpower to have.
That is a great superpower.
Damn. They call you Brownie
Good
Man.
one.
Would you like a brownie? Kiss me passionately, eating the brownie. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's Beth Snyder, like we promised you. And this is our first week doing it live on the YouTube, although it is show number 105 for Loutopia. And you like this, you want to get curious, but if you just want to stare at a static picture, man, we got 90 minutes, 105 times that you can take a gander back through history and see what was going on. And we covered some topics, current events over the last couple of years.
Yeah, it's never political.
Yeah, we're not, yeah. Well, during the election, we couldn't. I tried to stay as neutral as possible.
Me and Beth were on a warpath.
Yeah.
Well, it just
Yeah, it got under my skin a bit, I will admit.
Well, it's well, but look how good everything is now.
goes, yeah, right,
But it all turned out great.
right back where we started from.
What was I worried about?
Yeah, really. Well, folks, in case you're setting the timeline, this is August 22nd, 2017. We broadcast the show out of the Double Special Studios in sparkling Clearwater, Florida. We are on we're also on Podomatic and iTunes and
Rebroadcast audio on.
and then irnbroadcast.com.
Bam, look at that.
irnbroadcast.com. And then also the Loutopia podcast itself, loutopia.com. And now we're live on YouTube.
I don't have a graphic for that.
Well, yeah. Well, you're on YouTube. Just look up in the corner. There you go. Perfect. Little red square.
Pony show.
Yeah, it's amazing. But anyway, the show is about health, humor, well-being. This week, we are covering the 4 agreements. Now, Beth, we've covered this before, and I know in your hypnotherapy practice down there that this has got to be some skeletal resources for a lot of people. If you're starting to, rebuild your attitude and your life, this is some integral stuff, don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely. And the truth is that, if you're not kind of living by the 4 agreements or working towards it, and listen, it's not an easy overnight thing that you just do, but you are already living by some sort of agreements.
Yes.
that you have in your own mind. And if those agreements aren't working for your life, just know that, when we talk about awakening,
Yes.
it's an interesting concept because it's really kind of awakening to your own internal process, right? Mm-hmm. I think some people hear that word and they think, oh, it's, like this magical, moment where you really can see the truth and the clarity and maybe, angels descend to surround you. And that may happen. I think some people have had that experience
Sure.
and hopefully more will. But more importantly, that awakening, and that's what the 4 agreements are about, is becoming aware and awake to your own internal processes, how
Yes.
you're thinking about life. And in our early childhood we get we get what we call domestication or beliefs, right? And so because of that reward and punishment system, and because being accepted by our tribe or our parents is so very vital to our existence, our subconscious really starts to form, we can call them parts, we call them, belief systems, but ways that we're reacting and interacting in the world. And so, we go on to kind of live that way, but a lot of that early programming, that early hypnosis or bad hypnosis,
Yes.
It's not really working for you in your adult life anymore. So just kind of changing that overnight isn't necessarily, you want to watch kind of your expectations on that. So when you talk about the 4 agreements, don't expect that you can just read these and say, that's how I'm going to live my life. your subconscious is kind of going to fight you a little bit there, and your body too, right? You've got those neurons that are all fired together and used to living that way. So it's about becoming aware of, well, what are my agreements, right?
Exactly.
that I'm living by. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And what happens is we're in such a pattern of believing our own baloney, stuff that's not necessarily true about us or me or you or whatever. And especially, the people that our parents or whoever raised us or whatever, it's not necessarily, they meant no harm. They were just repeating what they knew to repeat. And, bless their little hearts, a lot of times they gave you a lot of bad information. And there is nothing in the world wrong with wiping that slate clean and starting over. Start over with stuff that you can deal with, that you can comply. It's such a there's such a broad base of how you can start your healing. But the first thing you got to remember, to me, one of the things that sent me on my healing path is I stopped beating myself up. I stopped, I stopped looking at everything that I thought was wrong with me. And every once in a while, you'll find something that you think is wrong with you, but it's absolutely charming to somebody else. So cut it out.
Isn't that the truth? Yeah, that inner critic, right? And so that's always one of the first things that I really start to work with my clients on, and I continue to work with myself on. It's that really kind of working with that inner critic. I always say, let's work to turn that inner critic into an inner coach.
Yes.
Because how long would you, like those things that you used to say to yourself, Lou, can you imagine if someone in your life really came up to you and talked to you in that way, right? You would have probably punched him in the nose. You would have been upset. You would have kicked him out of your life. So you wouldn't tolerate like others speaking to you in that way. But we become so habituated with that inner critic or that inner dialogue that we don't really realize, what it's doing to us. And on a biochemical level, we kind of become addicted to, our brains become addicted to, wanting that chemical release that kind of comes from that internal drama that we create.
Oh, God, I know. It's well,
true. Right?
Yeah. I mean, I even did it the other day, and I'm, I do try to stay, I'm a positively charged kid. I do try to stay, Well,
the antidote to drama is comedy.
It is. Absolutely. Right. Yeah. And we do a little dramedy around here every once in a while too. But I was doing something in the garage. All my hands were full, and instead of fixing the one thing that I wanted to fix, I messed up three things. And as all the stuff was falling on the floor and rolling under the car, I went, "You idiot!" And then I went, that's bad. I should not tell the universe that I'm an idiot.
No, but you can push the reset button anytime you want and start all over again. Anytime.
The great thing about self-forgiveness, it's just readily available.
My reset button has been hit so many times you can't even read the word reset on it anymore. It's all smooth. Like a trainman's brake handle. It's all smooth. But, but I do, for the most part, the first thing, the 4 agreements, absolutely fantastic. And this part of being impeccable with your word, the first agreement, also means avoiding negative self-speak. When you're putting yourself down, when you're busting your own chops, first off, to be honest with you, most people don't want to hear it. They really don't want to hear you mugging yourself, because, they think you're trying to evoke some sort of pity comment. Oh, buddy, you're really not that bad. Talk about knuckleheads. I know a knucklehead. So, I think some people think that that's what you're up to.
Yeah, we don't need sympathy. We can use some empathy every now and then. But, when you're begging for sympathy, nobody wants to hear it.
Yeah, that empathy, man.
Yeah.
Especially if you're on the giving end of being empathic. Ugh. And you hear the people talking and complaining, and you literally just want to stop, just clear the room. Come here, you need a hug, and let me tell you what's up with you. Should you be so bold? But
Oh.
and Beth,
That's true, and I mean, a lot of people, I think, though, when they're, that's really a cry for love. They're kind of crying out for help in a way. I mean, I know when I think about my younger self too, really being so hard on myself and making fun of myself even. It was really just a way to kind of like cry for help. I think.
Sure.
I'm sure of that now. Looking back, for sure.
The Doc Martens and the henna face tattoos. I get it. But anyway.
It was one night.
And we'll do a show soon about regrets. And that's one of the things that helps you clear yourself out is you got to give up a lot of regrets. But I don't know why the mind works so unusually. Of the few times I got caught riding a bus long distance in my life, I was actually coming back from Kansas City, and I had left my car in Charlotte, North Carolina. So I was taking a bus trip from KC to Charlotte, and a guy got on in the middle of Tennessee, and he had a rat tattooed on his forearm, okay, and then underneath it, and this was a needle and ink, jailhouse tattoo,
right,
and underneath it, it said, it was supposed to say, "Crazy as a shithouse rat," okay, but whoever made the tattoo misspelled it and wrote "crazy as a shit hose rat." So this guy,
that's crazy.
He
shit hose.
It was like he was in a portalette. He didn't even make it to a real outhouse. He was in a portal. He was going through the shit hose.
That's a horrible tattoo.
Oh my gosh! And the guy, I looked over at him, and it's funny. I saw that he was a nice guy deep inside, but just the exterior and the pain and the posturing was just overpowering it.
It's like it's like those guys in prison that have like the Chinese characters tattooed on them, having no idea what they mean.
Right.
I love pig balls. You do, but so your speech and your language, this whole thing, this whole life, for those intelligent enough to understand language and communicate, this whole thing is a manipulation of language and words. Our government does it to us every day. The television does it to us every day. Very, very few people give you the straight shot, ladies and gentlemen, except here on Loutopia.com. But there's so many manipulations of words that to learning to be impeccable with what you say totally sensitizes your bullshit meter. So if you're going through the practice of being careful what you say, when somebody's just blurting buckets of, bilk at you, you know it. You know it. You instantly recognize it. You don't buy into it. And you just, hopefully you just quietly dismiss yourself.
Well, the Tao teaches us to be
true.
And
our words.
Go on, Beth.
Go ahead.
Well,
no, I was just going to say our words have vibration. So our words are, when we speak, that's an action. That's a sound that we're putting out into the universe, just like a beacon. And so, that's going to attract back to us those things that we're saying. So if we're speaking badly about ourselves or badly about others or complaining, we're literally creating more of that in our lives, from a vibrational standpoint.
Yes, and what those negative vibrations do is they create a negative atmosphere that you have to stand in, and I remember a couple times I've seen like sales meetings and service meetings and where the boss had a big ass chewing session with the employees and then dismissed everybody, and everybody was in a terse mood. And literally the thickness was still hanging in the air from all the negativity, from all the pain that had just been realized and brought to the surface. So, Beth, you're completely right about the words that you say, and then the words that you think. That's your next level. When you get to that point where you go, I learned to not say as much dumb shit. Now I need to learn how to not think as much dumb shit.
That should be a self-help book.
Just let those thoughts in and let them go.
Yeah, exactly. Let them pass through like a sieve.
Right.
The second agreement, which is my favorite and I think the one that I've had the most success, is don't take anything personally. As you know, just because somebody else said something bad about me, man, it doesn't matter much. It doesn't matter much because, you know, I know a lot of I know a lot of people much worthier than them if they want to put me down. You know what I mean? So, and they're all just random comments anyway. They don't know the full specter of what they're saying.
No, and it's based on their dream, right? Or it's based on their beliefs and their experiences. It really, what other people think and say really has nothing to do with you. I always like to say, you know, what other people think about you is really none of your business.
Yes, that's very, very true. And if you get to the point where you are working this and you're not taking things personally, when somebody makes a snide comment or a harsh remark, or if you see a scenario going down that includes you and you've automatically figured yourself out for the stooge or the loser, as quick as you can get away from that, the more successful and the more joyous your life is going to be. Because, for one, half of the stuff that you assume is not as bad as you think it is. And that leads us to the third agreement is don't make assumptions. Just because you've seen this thing happen before. Now, I'm not saying not to learn from your wisdom, but don't always assume that you know how this is going to end. And I just know way too many people who have a whole scenario worked out before anything even happens. They know how it's going to go. They know how they're going to get screwed over. They know how they're never going to be able to pay it back. They just know it's going to be awful and they'll be less of a person at the end of that day because all that happened, even though nothing had happened yet. It's detractive from moving forward in your life. So if you are watching what you're saying, you're being impeccable with your word, and you're trying not to take anything personally, and you're not making assumptions. If you're doing those three things, you are so much more ahead than the guy standing next to you at the grocery store or the guy driving next to you in traffic.
Well, you know, the taking something personal is that when you do that, that goes directly towards the ego and it tweaks the ego. And, you know, living a life of spiritual contentedness or fulfillment is all about abandoning the ego. So, you know, there's a pretty good explanation why that third rule always holds true.
Yeah. And there used to be a great little acronym for ego. It was edging God out. When it's all you and you're not letting the universe or the creator or whatever fix things for you, or just letting go of a situation, because I'm thoroughly convinced that the universe wants more for you than you want for yourself.
Yes, and that's why I believe in dog.
I believe in dog.
Yeah, doing obvious good.
Now, Beth, you've got your hypnotherapy practice down there in Sarasota. And, every day of your life, you're helping people sort out, their life, their feelings, their efforts. People trying to find their center, there's the singing bowls and the glorious stones and all kinds of beautiful organic things. And then on top of that, it's a spa. So you are really, really in the people business in a huge way. And
We are in service, no doubt about that. In service to others.
Yeah, it's and I know you see a lot of people. I mean, I know you've seen people. I know you would never use any names, but give us a little scenario of like a success story. Somebody that came to you, wadded up in a ball, and now what's happening with them?
Well, there was Mary Jo from Parrish. No, I'm just kidding. No, of course, I would never use anyone's name.
Right.
I think so many people, right? So there's a lot of examples of that, and anyone who's suffering. I one of my taglines for my hypnosis practice is the suffering is optional, which is kind of a probably a bastardized version of something wonderful Buddha said. But the suffering in life is optional, and I think about my primary focus for my practice is anxiety, because I had such a personal brush with it, and still use the techniques and things to keep it at bay and to understand that when it comes knocking, what it really is. But you can really just spiral with anxiety, and so that's always my greatest pleasure. And I remember one woman who had been really suffering for probably over 30 years with it. She was older, and I get a lot of older clients too that have, carried these things through their lifetime, and that's always such an honor, to help someone, to know that even in their last 20 or 25 years on the planet, that they've got a new perspective. So, you're never too old to change. I've had clients in their 90s.
Woulda, coulda, shoulda. You're in your 90s, and then the light finally comes on.
Better late than never.
Better late than never. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, and sometimes it's not until that point in your life, that retirement point, that you've slowed down enough to realize, you're kind of out of the game. So for a lot of people, it is, that when that time kind of happens is when, they'll start having trouble with anxiety or depression or other things, because they're not occupying themselves with all the other work stuff, or busying themselves and things that never really mattered anyway. So they didn't hear the whispers, so now they hear the shouts, right?
Yes. Well, and that's what that's what our collective love effort is for the Loutopia podcast. If we can help your day be just a little bit better, if we can help you, get over one little thing that you're trying to get over, and a lot of times it's something simple. I mean, a couple of weeks ago, I got a little flustered during the day. I had some stuff going wrong, and just a buddy of mine just put his hand on my shoulder and he goes, "Dude, just stop and breathe for a minute." And it was just that simple thing that I did. I took a break. I walked away from the situation. I sat. I took some deep breaths. I closed my eyes for a couple minutes and came back and fixed everything. That wasn't even nearly as bad as I thought it was going to be. You know what I mean? I had all these projections about what was going to go wrong and this and that and the other thing. And, and I'm going, oh, there's no way, this is going to work out. And then I went back with fresh breath and a little bit of clarity, and I approached it from a better angle, and everything worked out fine. And that leads us up to the fourth agreement: always do your best. Now that's a tall order, but your best is movable. Your best, when you first start doing this, your best is going to be maybe not so good, but you can work on it and you will recognize it, because when you do these other things, when you become impeccable with your word, you stop taking things personally, and you don't make any assumptions. That's going to help you always do your best. So this, ladies and gentlemen, without getting overly preachy and without standing on your foot about having to make a decision about your life, if you want something nice and passive and 100% in your favor, the 4 Agreements is a wonderful way to start. And like I said in the first half, our 100th show, we celebrated by having Don Jose Ruiz, which is Don Miguel Ruiz's son, who wrote the 5th Agreement. So this one whole family link here, this mindset that we all carry with us. Again, on the Loutopia website, you can find the Pacifist Riot. And what this is we're all trying to do the same thing. We're all trying to get to a peaceful vibration. And the more peaceful your vibrations are, the kinder you're going to be, A, to yourself, which is tremendously important, B, to others, C, to the universe, D, you're going to start moving, you're going to start attracting things because your vibration is beautiful. You're going to start having the fulfillment of everything you need simply because your vibration is beautiful. And this is all in your wheelhouse. I don't care who I'm talking to. This is all in your wheelhouse. You can make these simple changes. Stop being so frustrated. Take a deep breath. Like I said, the universe loves you more than you love yourself. So knowing that, and knowing that the core element, the one unexplainable element on this earth is love. It's never been completely defined. It is definitely an energy field, but it is, to me, it's the ultimate goal. When you can just fill your heart with love and forgiveness and kindness and gentleness of spirit, those are the things that we're looking for, to me. And that's what makes this trip worthwhile,
Unconditional, indiscriminate love.
Unconditional, undiscriminate love. Indiscriminate. That's pretty heavy, dude.
Welcome to Tao.
Heavy, but yet very light.
Yes, exactly, yes. Well, grace, the definition of grace is unmerited loving kindness. So we're all in the same boat here with all this beautifulness.
Right.
Beth, we just love having you on. Now the new YouTube show is a little shorter than the old show. So we're actually going to head for the barn here in just a minute.
Oh, wow. Okay, great. I had more points ready to go, but I like it.
Well, we're trying to fit the YouTube format. We want to get.
He's trying to impress like young kids with short attention spans. That's what he's trying to do.
Not young kids, dude. It's everybody's got a short attention.
The kids, it's they only do 20s, only do 2s.
Okay. We need just to do boomerangs,
Yeah, exactly. Well, actually, but go ahead. What else did you want to say? I don't want to cut you short, honey.
No. I'm just I think an ending point for me would just be anyone that's listening is, hearing this, it sounds, if you're in the muck and the mire, if you're not feeling good about life, and I'm so glad that we have your ear for just a minute, or if you're suffering with habits, or you're suffering in relationships, or you're just really unhappy, or you're suicidal, or whatever it is that's happening for you, or just really depressed, or you just got a good case of the fuckets with life. Just knowing that what you're hearing here, it's not an instant patch, right? It's not, those people have it and I don't. It's people to be aware of expectations. That it starts in little steps, and just, little by little, finding a little more kindness, a little more love, a little more gentleness. And you can really turn your life around through the power of your own mind. And I think that's so powerful, especially with, because if you go to your doctor about this stuff, they're probably going to want to just prescribe an antidepressant for you. And that's okay. Take it if you need it. But know that you can really heal yourself from the inside out.
Amen.
So,
true story there.
Yeah.
True story. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's Beth Snyder. at BethSnyderHypnosis.com down there in Sarasota. Always a privilege and an honor to have you on the show, dear. We love you. And
well, my pleasure. I hope. Do I get a should I set a camera up? We'll talk about that next time.
yeah, we'll do that next time.
Yeah, as soon as I figure out the shot, I'll be talking to you, Beth.
Yeah, and we're actually on a 2-week hiatus after this.
I'm headed into the mountains.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, so
nice.
we can take a deep breath and we can pull some big storylines together. Michael, I love you, brother.
Ditto.
Man, the energy that between Michael and Beth and Chris and Pamela and Isaac, all these beautiful people in my life, the energy is just moving forward, and I could not be more pleased. Chris, thank you so much. Our producer and
You're welcome.
Double Special Studios are really, really a special place. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of our first podcast on the YouTube and YouTubes.
Don't say the or
YouTube.
pluralize it, please.
Jiminy Cricket.
The YouTube.
Twitter.
We're up there on the YouTubes.
On the face place with the kids.
Face place.
Facebook thing.
Good God.
Hey, I'm really trying to walk this way. But
You did fine, sir.
well, thank you very much. Visit Loutopia.com. Send us letters and listen to us on YouTube. Feel free to share if we made a point.
Subscribe
Subscribe. Oh,
to Lou Angel
That's
Wolf's
it.
station.
Yeah, Lou Angel Wolf subscriptions. That's what we need now. And I'll send you cookies.
They're free. Give them away for Christmas.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. And we'll be back 3 weeks. 3 weeks. 3 Tuesdays from now.
Live
we'll
on
have
YouTube.
All fresh, brand new, live YouTube. And I'll be skinnier then.